And we're live. Farrah, it is, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you, and it's an honor to have you on my show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to do so.
Oh my gosh, where is this going, Felix?
You tell me, Farrah, where is this going?
Where is this going? Is this a first date or is this a
I don't
podcast?
know. I guess we'll find out at the end.
Okay.
Anyways, so I told you a few seconds ago, is there a tidbit, a little something that the world doesn't know about you from what's out there?
I mean, I would say maybe like I guess nobody knows how hard I've been working on my educational goals. And some people would like side, I guess, with me, like, I don't know, maybe like moving on from Harvard and like what my side of the story is. I guess like that's not really talked about because everyone's so in awe of Ivy League schools rather than like the hard work that it goes into and like mistreatment sometimes through school. So like nobody probably really knows that story, but I'm always like hustling on my education.
So will you, I mean, very briefly, because I saw a little bit of this story about Harvard. Will you give a very brief background for the people who are listening or are not familiar with what's going on?
Okay, yeah. So I just had to, okay, so I decided to take the online 12-month like accelerated like screenwriting program. I normally, if people have followed me from like day one on 16 and pregnant to like my end of my term of teen mom, I normally am like online program person just because when I do show up in person, a lot of bad stuff happens to me just trying to get through school. And so I was like, wow, Harvard is like one of the people who like opened up for like fast online programs. I'm going to just jump on it because it will help me and it's fast. So I went through the admissions, did everything, started, and I was like the same day that I started one of like the general courses, not even like my specificity, which is screenwriting. I was urged and emailed after an amazing class. Like, she's like, that's amazing. Like, happiness, like, everything's good. Right. Then she urges me in an email to drop my course. She says I have a neurological problem. And it's literally like opposite of what I experienced. And I was so like, I've never witnessed this and I'm like on my master's courses. So I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with this teacher. And I try to be like online so I don't have to deal with like the drama. And she just brought it on the first day. So I just had asked, hey, can you please put on the dean? Can you please put on like admissions? Like, transfer me out or do whatever you got to do. But like, I'm getting my education and I've already paid for it. So figure it out. So she kept thinking like her horrible emails to me over weeks, like for a month, were going to stop me and deter me. I did tell her to get in line with all the other haters online because I'm like, who does this lady think she is? This is like fifth grade level. It's like a humanities course. We've already gotten this done. And I can't even believe I'm paying for this. But sure enough, it was a holiday week while everyone is probably like celebrating 4th of July. I'm literally doing like, I don't know, schoolwork and everything else and stressed out about it and making sure that it's getting in there. When I went to go hop on my Zoom class, the only way you could literally fail your courses online is by not attending your Zoom classes. She literally got me blocked out of my class
Wow.
from the dean unannounced. And then she also was slandering against me by saying that I didn't correspond or connect with her over the holiday break. And therefore she was going to block me out and I'm not turning in my assignments, which all of them are turned in. So you can only imagine how many legal issues I've been in over the years and how prepared I am to just, I guess like sue Harvard. But yeah, so I have never witnessed someone saying I have a neurological problem when I'm like a honors A+ student. And I literally just got my BFA like months ago and I had extreme honors. So and then I had another class and I don't know, it's weird. At Harvard, you can pay a higher rate for a master's program, but you can have a sophomore in your class who pays a lower rate. So I don't know how we're getting taught anything any better at master's levels when like a sophomore's in there and paying a less of a fee. And I've never witnessed a school doing that. And I'm shocked an Ivy League school does that. Really shocking. But I learned a lot. And I think I'm never going to go to Harvard if I don't get a full ride scholarship. I'm never going to tolerate someone treating me like crap and abusing me. Like, literally, that is psychological, financial abuse, number one. And I don't deal with that in my family life, my personal relationships, or me doesn't do that to me. So I turned it into like 7 departments: diversity, inclusion, um, discrimination department. I don't know, admissions. I mean, the dean was on there. He never called me, never answered my emails back. So yes, as helpless and as discriminated and blocked out as I was, and I also had to turn it into my bank because it was fraud, because like they didn't return my money. And it's not my issue that someone blocked me out of attending my class to fail me. So yeah, I had to withdraw so that wouldn't be on my transcript and screw up my record, my academic record. But yeah, my other class, like, outstanding, exceeds expectations. I was asked to even speak in the class.
Fuck yeah.
So I do know, like, I'm not the only student in the world who is dealing with discrimination, dealing with educational abuse of some sort. And I think all of these schools that are claiming, yeah, we have a mental health and therapy department, which Harvard claims, but yet they're causing abuse. Then they have like writers centers, and the writers centers don't even work for you. They claim that they have all these things and they're doing all this good, but they're actually ignoring problems, making worse problems, and hurting their students, and claiming that they have more problems than they don't have. And if anyone knows me, I am always working on my mental health, wellness, healing, from like psychiatrists to like therapists to all that, because what I do is very demanding. And yeah, if anyone has a neurological problem, it's probably the teacher who really needs to be tested and or fired.
Well, I think it's also a badass power move of you to talk about this while repping a Harvard shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the shirt. I think Harvard does an exceptional job of marketing. Harvard does such a good job of marketing. I actually think the only way Harvard floats is by the marketing. Like, oh my God, you're so smart and you're so like wealthy and you're so this if you have a Harvard logo. But that's really not the truth. And that's really not like this systemic psychological fuckery, if you will, that people have been passed down generation to generation of Harvard is literally wrong. And when I say that to like, I'm going to, I'm getting ready for law school, but I'm switching to a Christian university because clearly I don't treat myself as bad as Harvard treats people. And it's being taught by a Harvard student. And when he knows that I don't take no, 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 and I will not be taught, to succumb to who's ever thinking. But that's really what like a winner and a fighter does and a leader does. You don't need to lose yourself and become somebody else to pass a humanities course. Like, it's not worth it. And I think individuality needs to be rewarded more, and more people should not have to conform to get A or an E at Harvard.
I agree, but I'm curious just on a personal level, and kind of taking you back to your earlier years. Have you always had this kind of fiery fighter instinct, and making sure that justice is served for yourself, ever since you were young? Is this something you developed over time?
Okay, so because I've been really going through, because Felix, I've been really going through a becoming a woman like phase in my life. And turning 30 has been a huge thing on top of like all these legal battles I'm going through right now. And I would say, because of my therapy, I know from like being young, I had to be a survivor, and no one knew like where to put me or like where, like, what is Farrah? And it was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be a part of like this clique, that clique. I don't need to fit in. I don't need to be like super white American. Like, I'm going to go do my best. And my best was like getting medals and winning awards and like standing out in whether that was singing or choir or theater or sports. Like I used to play football with the boys. Like I had to be taken to the hospital because like they just knocked me out one day. I love to be involved, but I also knew like people just don't relate to me.
Do you still feel that way?
No, I mean, look, I am so grateful that I put myself out there for the right reasons to be on TV, which was making an impact, obviously, for lesser than, looked at lesser than women who, if you're a teen, you can't be a good parent. But in fact, I'm the best damn parent I've seen around. Um, so I'm happy that I put myself out there on TV, and I don't think I don't fit in because of certain things. I think a lot of, man, I have so many letters and so many emails and so many this and so many that that I can't even keep up. But what I am grateful and thankful for is that I know that like other students or that other teen moms don't need to feel like they can't go to Harvard just because of money or status or this or that. And honestly, it's not about paying your way to get in or paying your way to have friends like it is hard work. It is tactics. It is being smart. And I really just don't rely on money for anything to get me anywhere. I don't rely on who I know to get me anywhere. I honestly like, I just like live in positivity. And I hope like that is my focus and other people can focus on that. I don't know. I think there's a big, I'm like, what is it there? I think there is a big change coming, and I hope that I can be a part of that. I'm a part of a lot of boards like Women in Film, Hollywood Chamber, and I'm always pushing on the back end and taking hard meetings so other people can live better lives each day.
And I think, in kind of looking into your story and listening to some of your past interviews over the past couple of days, I think that there's a lot of misconceptions. And even in talking to you, you can tell that, if someone doesn't know your story, they might think one thing about you. What do you think for yourself is the biggest misconception about Farrah?
Oh boy, I think I've been out of it. I think I've been like eat, love, pray, Farrah for a little bit. I might be so out of touch of like what's a big misconception. Um, I don't know. Like recently, everyone, a lot of the people who I'm working around are like, Farrah, are you like gonna do reality TV again? Yes or no, Farrah? Like, what is going on? And I just said, like I envision myself like getting a star on the Walk of Fame. And I don't really see doing anything that's not like forward thinking or good for the world is going to make me feel good about having a star on the Walk of Fame. I literally stare at the Walk of Fame every day. And I've seen so many men, so many, not really that many women getting stars on the Walk of Fame, but I've been seeing a lot of men outside of my window getting stars, and I also attend them. But I was on Dr. Phil and I saw him getting a star. And I thought to myself, like, if people don't realize like the directory of their career and they just keep taking things, right? So I kept saying no, no, no for the past 3 years of lots of shows, lots of show opportunities to the point where it's upsetting my agents, it's upsetting my managers. And they're like, what about money? And, people stress about things that I just like literally just don't care about. And when I kept seeing people getting, oh, by the way, this is the only way I got on the Hollywood Chamber, by the way, I saw a gentleman who was recently like the show got canceled because of like abuse and lies and some other things going on in the press at the time. He was getting a star on the Walk of Fame. I recorded him and he was like manhandling his kids and kind of being like obviously showing abusive tendencies. And I was just like, I can't believe this person is getting a star on the Walk of Fame. Like I almost literally felt like, should I just go grab like eggs out of my refrigerator and just like drop the egg carton and call it a day? Because that's how I really felt about it. And so I did say something. And yes, the chamber did make me take off my tweet, but I was just like, no amount of money or no amount of who like no one like that should get a star on the Walk of Fame and be a part of a historical district. Like it's just not good history. And by me being a part of a chamber now, it's like, wow, lots of things have changed. We've gone through some dark times during COVID and all of these uprisings around here and crime and dark times in Los Angeles. And I am just like so excited to make a comeback for women and positive change and doing like good history in Hollywood. So if anyone can feel it, like I'm a survivor. I'll probably like survive like a Holocaust if it ever happens again. And I'm just very excited to just do a lot of good. But I do know like so many of my fans, so many people who just relate, whether that's hell yeah, I work hard for my education. Hell yeah, I'm just trying not to like succumb to the negativity and the hate. They're always reaching out and just trying to like say good for you. And I equally urge people to like run for office, run for something you care about. Like my neighbors in the office, like we attend city council meetings. They care. They're passionate about something. They don't want any more like mental illness running around. And I think all of us should be a part. It's all of our world. And it's sad, like people just like to silence people and act like nothing happens. And I think I've been assaulted and attacked recently a lot. I just had to put someone in jail like 2 days ago again. And I just can't let things go anymore. It's just kind of gotten wacky.
Can anybody anticipate a run for office from yourself?
Yeah, I actually commented just slyly that I will be running for office. I think if we have mayors and if we have governors and if we have other people who are doing very bad things to our society and inflicting and infecting communities and societies with crime and bad culture, then why can't a stand up mom do better? So I know that I'm not going to touch people inappropriately. I know I'm not going to drug, hurt, power trip. I know I would never do that, but I think we all have criminal tendencies within us. But if you have a lack of self control, then I would just urge, like my teacher who urged me to get out of class, even though that's my right. Um, I would urge people who have a lack of self control to not be in positions of power because you will abuse other people, you will break laws, and you will find yourself in jail. What's the point?
What kinds of positions do you see yourself running for specifically, if you've given it any thought?
You know what? I used to babysit, and they're probably going to hear this, and I'm not going to like shout them out because I don't want to ruin anything for them in office. But I used to babysit for a senator, and I love, love, love them so dearly. And I'm happy that they check up on me, and they're always just like, "Yeah, that's the fair we know." Like they don't care if I have my ups and my downs. And I think maybe I would be a senator. A lot of people over the years were always like, Farrah would be a diplomat. She's always traveling. She knows culture. She knows how to get in and out of things. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I can't foresee myself being really so local because locally I am like local part of boards and we pass bills and we, no matter what, I don't need to be like a public figure in politics or I shouldn't say politics. I'm not like political. I just focus on like doing good in the point, like in government. So I don't really need to be like governor or a district seat or anything like that. So like at the city council or some of our meetings or some of our boards, we actually push bills to get approved to change laws. So even if someone's hearing this and you're like, well, I don't really want like all the drama and the attention, you can still change laws. And I actually used to go to like meetings and help like my mom with historical preservation districts and laws and ordinances when I was really young and also raise money for the city. So those are things that no one knows about. But I have been doing that since I've been really little. And I like it's easy for me. I actually more so is paying attention. I just did like the FEC convention. It's for like financial campaigns for people who are running for government. And it's like actually really easy math and really easy stuff. But for me, I feel like again, like I'm attacked even just trying to go to Harvard. So I just feel like, okay, like if I'm going to do campaigns or anything like that, I also said to myself, why do I even need to be worried about financials and campaigning and all that blase blah? Like I am inundated with campaigning emails of like, hate this person, don't do this. Like, that's like, it's like, Jesus. Like, I don't like, I put it in my inbox and stuff because I just pay tribute to what the hell I'm not going to do because it's freaking annoying. But I, I just think, you know what? It costs me no money to just go run and do the right thing. It actually literally cost me like no give a shits to anyone else. I'm going to just go do what is right by the people. And I think I want to ask for money. I don't think I'd ask for donate this to do this. I understand how the government is set up, which I actually think needs to change because other people of like different diversities and backgrounds, they probably don't have the money to like run for certain positions that I'm looking for because you have to have like at least $5,000. And that's why you see like that's why you see people like cult like getting in big parties because even if they don't have the money, they're like, okay, well, if I join this campaign, they're going to fund me and they're going to like keep asking people for money all the time and like switch over the funds for me to run. And I actually just don't want to keep archaically doing something that like doesn't really help our system anymore. So I'm just going to go do it and like not ask people for money. I know. Insane.
Well, I don't know, Farrah. If you run, you have my vote, and that would be a lot of fun to see you in some political office.
Yeah, I don't know what position should
I
I
don't know.
do?
What
Like
should you?
go for?
I mean,
Should I go for like missionary? Kidding. No, but if I am in office, like obviously couldn't do that because then I'd be sexually harassing myself or somebody else, you know?
right, of
Um,
course.
so no, I just had to be lighthearted because it was so serious. No, but I do feel like senator or something of that nature. Maybe one day president, who knows?
Shoot for the
All I know
stars.
is, yeah, I am. Because you know what? I care about children. I care about men. I care about women. I care about rights. I care about everyone of all backgrounds, Russian, Tajikistan, whatever, showing up on your race card so that you can feel like you're included in America. By the way, America is like cosmopolitan. It is, everybody is here. And I just think we need to catch up in our government. And I use the government. I've actually never been approved for any government financial aid or anything. So I kind of am like, you know what? Let me just help that out
Yeah.
because I see a lot of people who need it, they don't get it. And then I see like a lot of our funds are like this way, that way. I'm very good at auditing and money budgeting. So that's why I'm like, I don't even need to ask for money for campaigning. Don't give me money. Like, let me just get to work.
I want to take you back. Well, I guess 13 years now.
13. We're going
13.
way back.
We're going way back.
My daughter is almost
Oh
13.
my! Is her birthday coming up soon?
Maybe I'll throw her a bar mitzvah.
Oh, you should do it. Those are
Almost
fun.
February. We're actually going to Israel. So we're doing the Bible tour and I'm really excited for that. So like Dead Sea, Sea of Babylon, the Western Wall.
When's that happening?
Holy month, September.
Wow. Well, that'll be a lot of fun. Enjoy that.
Have you been?
I have never been. No.
Okay, what would you do in Israel? Because I might do it for you and then totally like blast it on social media and then you hate me for it.
Okay. Let me think. Well, I have a lot of friends that have done Birthright, and they tell me about all the hikes that they get up at 4 or 5 a.m. They're going on these crazy hikes and seeing. I mean, it's beautiful apparently. And they're seeing all these very historical landmarks, and then I hear the clubs in Tel Aviv are pretty fun. I don't know if she's not.
So
Not
I
there yet.
definitely don't do clubs. I'm definitely like Jesus. I need Jesus, so I'm there for
Okay.
Jesus. But I will say this: I don't get up at 4 a.m. and hike.
Yeah.
Like I'm not on.
No, I
Naked
don't
and
do that
Afraid.
either.
I am like totally like Ritz Carlton in Hoffa.
I like that.
I'm gonna like just.
Have you ever
be at the
camped,
Holy-
Farrah?
Do I camp?
Have
I
you ever?
glamp.
Have you? Yeah, I know. I imagine you glamp, but have you ever camped?
I'm sure I have.
You don't remember it.
Yeah, I probably pissed on myself too. I got probably like uncomfortable. I'm not a camper, but I am a hunter.
You're a hunter. What do you hunt?
I don't know, pheasants.
Do you do that often?
No, I try not to use a gun that much anymore. People hate that.
Yeah. You probably get more hate for that too. Real quick. So, do you ever think about how often do you think about the 17-year-old Farrah?
I think about every age of Farrah all the
And what do
time,
you think
actually.
about?
If we think if we're talking about myself in the third person. Um, but there's a lot of self-talk that I think is healthy for everyone. I think about her all the time. Why?
Well, what do you think about when you, I guess, reminisce on your past? And I mean, and for me, the thing that I think is also interesting about your story is it's one thing to kind of go through the life that you've lived. It's another thing to go through the life that you've lived in the public eye the entirety of the time, and have to deal with not only like the actual events of your life, but then everybody who has something to say or an opinion on it. So that's why I'm curious, if you think about 17-year-old you or 21-year-old you and what that means to you today.
I don't know. It's kind of like a okay. So I think 17-year-old me who like lost the love of her life and was also like pregnant, having a child, had to wake up to like a whole other world like the next day and live it. Well, I went through a really, really hard time. I actually went through a lot of really hard things at all at once when I was 17. And I'm proud of that girl because you know what? The reason why I think back to the fair I was at 17 and along the way here is because I always call back to that Farrah because she had balls. She did not stop. Even when I like didn't sleep for 3 days, I was such a mess. I had a newborn. I had all these adults, saying this, doing that, thinking this. Like I had enough opinions. I didn't need any more. And realistically, I did the best that I could do when nobody else could really know what to tell me or what to do and or live my life. No adult around me lost the love of their lives. No adult around me had a child and also was going through bereavement. Like my mom was thinking I was like, there's like some word for women who like just have kids, like postpartum depression. She like kept thinking that she was so off course. And I just know like I think that's the problem with at any age, girl, guy, boy, kid, adult. If you are ever trying to make something right for other people, just to like alleviate stress for other people and not take care of yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I was the most depressed I have ever seen myself because I was trying to do good for my family, for others, for work, for this, for that, my kid. It was like, who am I? And I did. I ended up losing myself. I was suicidal. I had to go to therapy every day. I was crying. I got kicked out of my classes then for crying. And you know what? When that happens, you have to rebuild yourself and you have to remember like the strong person and the great person who you were before then. And thank God I lived a crazy good life before all that hit me, death, newborn baby, TV, fame, all of that. Because if I didn't have that, and if I didn't have like survival mode and like fight for justice vibe when I was growing up, I don't think I really could have survived through like the wrongful firing I went through. I don't think that would have turned out so nice. Yeah, I've been through a lot and I really appreciate it. And I think there's a lot to learn from it. I don't know. I was more prepared getting through a pandemic, all of this political stuff, the hatefulness, blockages. I was actually overly prepared for anything that could have happened in our society and our economy because I've just like really lived through it all.
Well, first, I mean, and for people that aren't familiar with your story, I'm sure that they'll go and look it up. But I think you first of all should be proud of yourself and everything you've done because the strength that it takes for everything that you've gone through, especially at such a young age and especially in the public eye, is something that I can't imagine. I don't think a lot of people have ever, that most people haven't gone through. So for that, I salute you. And I think that for many out there, I'm sure and you probably see all the messages and the notes. You're an inspiration, and some people might be like, oh, well, can a reality star be this or that? And they can have their opinions. But I'm curious, is there a note or a
Mhm.
conversation that you had, like a singular one that stood out to you that may have changed your life from, perhaps a teen mom or someone who has gone through a similar struggle that you've been open and strong enough to talk about?
Yeah. I'm gonna because there's so many. I'm gonna kind of
Okay.
sum it up. There's something that keeps repeating in my messages, and the repeat is there will be, and in real life, there will be women who, or men actually. So you could be female or male, and the messages and or in person, it kind of goes something like this: like, I I am so proud of you, like getting past the show and your mom and becoming of your independence. It's helped show me so much. And that could be in multitudes of different ways and dimensions. So, and then when we get down to the bottom of everything, when a lot of what like people are trying to transcribe in person to me and in letters, it's really like the survivor. Like they are surviving to however they can best. And they wish that they had other people standing up for them, but it wasn't their mom. It wasn't like anyone else around them. They're still very like to themselves about this. Maybe they're still carrying shame or whatever, guilt or whatever somebody else was trying to put on them. Like as their parents would try to heal themselves, act like their kids were so great, put pressure on their kids, but it was kind of like abusive vibes. The reason why I bring that up is because that is what, if us as we grow up into adults, if we don't cure that insufficiency of saying, I don't need to make my parent look good, I don't need to do good by my parents, like I am good. Like I actually have done way better than both of my parents. And I also support my parents, or I don't talk to them because I can't deal with the abuse anymore. But I say to those who like reach out to me and are trying to describe, like, yeah, Farrah, I totally understand. Like, I had a mom like you. Like, I know, like, my dad was just like your mom. Or like, I always get this like every day, even on, if I put something therapeutic up on Instagram, I know someone's going to say something to me. And that's my tribe. And I think there needs to be more empowerment. And I think maybe some people in the baby boomer generations really disown like kind of like the weight they put on the next generation, which is my generation, of like whatever perfectionism that they need to see to feel good about themselves because maybe they are lacking something in themselves. Their kids don't need to be that for them. Their kids don't need to like do anything for them to feel good. I just need to feel good within like my day and do good for me. And I gotta say, if I'm not doing good, nobody else is doing good. So I applaud. I don't know if that makes sense, but I applaud others who have just moved on and are not being held back by any toxicity of their parents. And when I say like people are so affected by this, like they will be around the wrong friends. They will be like, oh, I can handle the abuse because I've grown up around the abuse. You don't need to just say, oh, that's another abusive person. Oh, that's another da 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 da. No, you need to say, I deserve better. And that's not just another, I don't need to even deal with it anymore. And you just need to move on. So that's what I've done. I practice my life every day. And I'm fortunate for my new level of life. And I'm excited for other people.
And speaking of parents and parenthood, I'm curious. When you were 17, what were some of the fears that you had, perhaps coming into motherhood? And I'm sure, and my mom is the same way. When I was born, she had her fears, and she has her fears now. But how different are those fears, or thoughts, not just fears, doesn't have to be negative, of parenthood when you think about your progression as a parent over time?
Okay, so fears are just normal. I think we are like psychologically in our society be like fear, 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 right? And I'm also like a Midwest girl, Midwest Iowa girl. Like we're paranoid AF. Like, oh my God, he could have a gun because he looks like this. Watch out, right? So I try to just like stop the Midwest paranoid chick thing because like, whoa, that'll drive me crazy. Um, my fear. Okay, so I want to say something like this. I had high hopes. Like I was like praying for okay, so Sophia's dad and I, we were going through a legal situation because of our parents. And that's why we were not talking at a time. Like police literally showed up to the house and were like, do not talk or see each other anymore till after the court. You can only imagine how hard that is. And so you just have to like rely on faith to get through that. And so I'm like praying for people. I'm just hoping everything works out. Well, I mean, like the fear of everything not working out or the fear of whatever. Like my parents were also going through a divorce. My dad was like trying to figure out when he was moving out. Like there was just like, I had no idea what the hell my life was turning into. On top of doing a TV show, on top of like transforming into something I don't even know what I'm transforming into. I hope my kid's okay. Like I literally just prayed for like I don't even know what gender I'm having. I didn't even care about a party. I didn't care about anything. They threw me a huge party. People just surprised me with gifts when I was pregnant. I was so fortunate. Um, but like I just prayed for like health and well-being because I think I was just traumatized from all the chaoticness. And I hate to say it like that. I just had so much going on while I was like trying to figure out what my life was that I was just hoping for something good, but it actually really got like even kind of like worse before it got better. And that is sad. I'm not going to cry, but that is depressing. Fears. I mean, I don't know. I just had like, I don't know why I have to say this, but the Christmas, which is like right before the car accident where I lost Sophia's dad, it was a revelation. It was like a wake up call. When I was like still feeling like I was going to get gifts for myself at Christmas, but no, I opened the gift and it was for a child I don't know anymore. And I didn't know whether to like, I was actually going to fucking cry. And I say that because our denials are just as equal as those fears.
Mhm.
So fear is not really real. Denial is real. And I think any fear that I've ever had, like when people are like, don't leave a show, it's for your kid, like your kid was born on this show. I have to have a sense of self as a good mom. I have a damn good sense of guilt. Like I will not be called a hypocrite. And I know that protecting and making sure my child is not hijacked by anyone or anything is my first like rule number one. But like I don't know. I just feel like fear is what I just think like I kind of more so put my faith in God, obviously, and whatever that is to other people, they can ponder that. Um, I don't know. I have to say I have the most unreal, surreal days of my life. And if I didn't have that significant power, that be, then that wouldn't help me be the best parent I could. That wouldn't, I mean, I don't even know if I'd be alive. But fear is not something that is real to me. And I think that's why I had to say it how I said it earlier. Just because I'm used to being around criminalistic activity, just because that's okay. There's another ill person. Okay, that's just another killer. Um, just because I know that and I'm not scared of it doesn't mean I need to keep allowing it to happen. Like I need to evolve. And I think other people who like watch my story keep evolving with me. And I needed to evolve as well. And fear does not help anyone evolve. But depression, sadness, and like big life yays or big life like no's, they will help you get to whatever level in a positive way. And that's how I wrote my first book, even when I was depressed.
I'm curious, what are your conversations or what were the conversations like, or some of the earliest conversations that you had with Sophia about, what to expect first if she were to go on the internet, if she were to rewatch some of the old episodes, if she was to look up her mom or to kind of understand her story and where she comes from, because the reality is that she has an unbelievable mother with a whole life. And you actually said a very interesting thing, I think, and I don't know if it was, I think it was on Impulsive. You said, I don't have a jaded past, I have a lived past, which I really liked. But I guess trying to explain that to a kid, and just explain what you've been through is probably a lot. I don't know if you would agree with that, and I don't know how you went about that, and the kinds of conversations that and the kinds of questions that she had that you felt maybe stuck with you.
Yeah. So Sophia and I, maybe on like YouTube as well, we've shared some of that. Like we'll rewatch some of the episodes of Teen Mom. I'm sure Sophia shared like, she was bullied a lot um online. So she's definitely talked about like what she sees and how it affects her. And like it's not okay because other kids are being affected by the internet. Um, my daughter, though, beyond like having a top Googled mom and having actually Sophia has like one of the top baby names. Like she was credited as having one of the top baby girl names.
Wow.
And I've saved all of those things. Sophia has like not even a baby book. She has like a baby vault. And she has so many successes and highs and searches and all that fun stuff. And I applaud Sophia because she is very talented and she is very smart and she's very in touch with herself. I raised her to be that way. And she was born that way. So I shouldn't take credit for it. Um, Sophia is not shocked by anything that she sees. It's more shocking and it's more hurtful to see really what we go through on a daily basis, that is traumatizing at times. Like we've gotten off of a plane and my daughter and I are in first class. I have some gate agent who claims that I am not her mom and starts yelling at me and saying I'm lying to my kid. And the whole plane has to sit there and vouch for me. And then cops are called. I got to call my parents. Like I have had some horrific things because of a show that has done exemplified. And that's the problem with television sometimes. And that's why I work so hard. Is you cannot exemplify bad behavior and doing bad to others on TV because then in real life, other people feel like they can go ahead and do that to that person, but even worse. And my daughter, God bless her, because she's going to be armed with everything and more. So I also feel like most people when they interview me, they're like, "Oh, Sophia's going to be 16 soon." It's like, yeah, are you like plotting to see something bad happen to my child? Like my daughter doesn't ever have to be me, who is uneducated in entertainment, who didn't know entertainment laws, who didn't understand how to protect herself, but then was like literally one of the most famous people overnight. And my daughter knows the laws. My daughter has a mom who is degreed now and everything and knows how to protect me, myself, and my child and my family. I think that's why I kind of feel like sports teams. A lot of my friends who are on sports teams, even though they come from middle of nowhere and they put them on sports teams, they also invest heavily in educating them, group environments, and kind of guiding them a little bit. Even if I don't even need to talk about talent, like talent, sports, or entertainment people, right? I could talk about Applebee's. Applebee's, you can go and you can go get a job and you're going to be trained, educated in an environment of a group. They can offer you insurance, they can offer you this, they can offer you that, okay? All I'm saying is they're getting you acclimated to understand your surroundings and be successful. In reality television, or what they wish, where they want to hold reality television and the people and how they want to treat them, which is like trash, but I don't treat myself like trash. There is no guidance. They love to keep you ignorant, and the more harm, the better. So I refuse to do that. And that's why I guess I was the only one who stood up for themselves and actually succeeded in like rising above like poverty and getting pregnant again and making really bad choices. I'm not going to be the first sex symbol or sensation person who doesn't have people prey upon them or do like weird things or try to steal from them or anything like that. That's been done. That'll continue to be done to people. And I really hope, the warning is out there for others who are in the public eye. I mean, gosh, now people aren't going to be born on MTV. They're going to be born on Netflix. And my daughter and I talk about that heavily because I brace my daughter for what, if she wants to go back to work, but she keeps saying she wants to, And she's heading to school, so she must really want to get back to work. Um, I educate her. I'm not ever putting my daughter in a bad situation to be hijacked by a production company, by an agent, by a manager, by anyone, or to be persuaded by a man or a woman off of any vulnerabilities.
Why do you think people love reality TV so much?
Okay, so I don't know why other people like reality TV, but I will say this. My first my first love of reality TV, I used to be like the Midwest girl who would come home from in Iowa, who would turn on I think it was TRL. I also used to watch like Boy Meets World, Degrassi, I don't know what else was out at that time. But I loved television, like TV. Like that's me. And I guess as entertainment industry changes and oh my god, weird, like now we're on TV, now we're on the covers of magazines, and now I have a child. Um I'm like, whoa, like I don't know, I don't really like to watch TV much. I love to always support and watch TV every week with my fans because I felt compelled to do that. If they're going to watch, I'm going to watch. If they're going to see something, I'm going to see something. But I think that actually did something therapeutic for me because I got to watch myself. I got to watch. I mean, I actually became very smart from watching myself and also crews and other people. And that's helped me in my career. But I think moving on, TV has changed in a way of it's sad because my daughter, who is like, oh my God, TikTok, right? So now I'm like a mom, which is weird. And I'm reverse. And Sophia's like, okay, well, I want to meet this person. I'm like, I want to go on this podcast. I want to do the show, like, right? Okay, well, I show up and like the entire narrative of this person's life and like their channel and everything is just like not even authentic. Like, at least I was giving people the real me as real as it could get, other than being attacked and like fake scripted things by production, which they shouldn't even be allowed to do on documentary. But I was just like, whoa, like those people are like not even straight and they're not even talking. And like, whoa, like that's just like foolery. Um, it would be one thing if it was just like scripted, right? Like I'm friends with so many scripted people just show up and like do the scripted show. And I love scripted. Um, but yeah, I don't know. TV now, I have to be honest, unless it has like some cool design factor, like there's this one on Netflix called like Beast, like Sexy Beast,
Okay.
where they like do all these crazy designs and like that costume designer should win an award, like Academy Award for that. But if it's like, I don't know, I really just say, hey, so do you want to turn on basic TV? We just call reality TV basic people TV. And I know that sounds bad, but if you keep just regurgitating the same things and not doing like elevating anything, it kind of is just super like, I've already watched it and it's been the same. I do like how Netflix turned regular dating into like have self-control. Like if you guys touch each other, kiss each other, whatever, you lose money.
Yep.
So I think that
I
was
had Harry Jowsey on, and he was on Too Hot to Handle where they did that, and he lost
oh,
first
it's
night.
called Too Hot to
He
Handle.
lost on the first night, by the way, all his money.
Yeah, well, he's stupid and he
Yeah.
needs some self-control. Get the dick problem handled.
Exactly.
So anyways, I think things like that are good and forward thinking. I just think that we have way more ways to elevate story and create. And yeah, so half the time I was getting bored doing television. And that's why I don't come back to TV as much as I do anymore. And I'm just busy working on scripted stuff. So it takes a lot to screenwrite and it takes a lot to direct and have those things done. And yeah, and then once it's done and I'm ready to go. But it's easy for me to show up and just work and just do talent. Like real talent, I need no practice. I just show up and I can go. But for writing and like skill set and other things, that's something that challenges me. And how am I going to be like 17 again when I'm 30 and not evolve? So I think that's why I challenge myself.
Where do you hope to see yourself in, say, 5 years or 10 years?
I don't know, like some government position because I care so much about that. I'll definitely have like my Juris Doctorate or my PhD by then. I don't know, hanging out, traveling, doing what I love, whether that's just doing investments or whatever, like, or teaching, or I do so many things. Actually, I don't just do like one.
To wrap things up, I'm always curious, and I love to get my guests' insight on if they think about their legacy and hopefully many more years of successful, happy, healthy life. But do you ever think about the legacy that you hope to leave?
Yes, I think honestly, the legacy is not. I just hope like the legacy is just like go for everything you want to go for. Um, I think that's easier said than done in every way. Go for everything you want to go for. I very rarely ever hear no, but yet sometimes I'll hold back. And it's just because I don't like to work with negative people. Um, so it's just go for everything you want to go for. I think a lot of people will tell you, or like in these success seminars or whatever, they're like, pick one thing and do that. Well, we have all learned one thing is not going to help get you anywhere. And I have never been one thing. Like even while I was doing a TV show, I think I was working 3 other jobs, full-time school, doing internships, like being a mom. So I've never just done one thing. I've had like 5 things going on at one time. So I think just do everything and don't stop and don't lose your sense of self. And I think you'll go everywhere. I think that's just a legacy. Like don't lose your sense of self and do everything you want to do.
Awesome. Well, Farrah, thank you again so much for taking the time today. I know you're obviously
I had so
incredibly busy. I had so
much fun.
much, Felix and Farrah. It was truly a pleasure. Um,
Felix and Farrah. We need a little cartoon skit.
that
That'd be fun.
I'll get my producer on that ASAP. But hopefully I meet you one day, either LA, New York, wherever it is. But I wish you all the best, your family, and continued success. And hopefully, hey, run for president. I'll vote for you.
All right.
Let's make it
Thank
happen.
you.
Thank you, Farrah.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at felix.levine. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment.